Well, the floor debate starts in just 3 hours now on the Senate Wall Street reform bill. Democrats finally won Republican support after abandoning the proposed $50 billion fund to wind down failing banks.
But many Republicans say they only ended their standoff because it was the smart move politically. Republican Senator Saxby Chambliss says he conceded to maintain the party's credibility. He joins us now. And Senator, we know one of the big sticking points, at least for you, had to do with this derivatives legislation that Arkansas Senator, Democratic Senator Blanche Lincoln was pushing. It's apparently part of the quote-unquote new bill, I guess, that will end up getting approved to replace the original Dodd bill. Are you still going to fight this part of the bill?
Yeah, we sure are, Chuck. This is an overreach that has enormous consequences out in mainstream America.
Explain how that is. Explain how this, connect it down there. Walk me through why you believe this is the case.
Well, first of all, this is an extremely complex issue. The issue of swaps and derivatives is not something that Main Street America is used to dealing with, but the fact of the matter is that the way the bill is written with the Lincoln language, it's going to have a reach down to our community banks, who are going to be treated exactly the same way as Wall Street banks and Goldman Sachs and all of these big individual financial institutions that are a part of the cause of the problem. Main Street America, our community banks, are not a cause of the problem, and this is simply a solution looking for a problem, and I have a major issue with that.
But Senator, isn't there, I mean, if you're saying the real issue is that this legislation treats all banks equally, that would seem to be, on the surface anyway, a fairly easy legislative fix. You could just draft it to apply to larger institutions. What's the big deal?
Well, you would think so, and that's what we asked them to do, but the chairman of the Commodities Futures Trading Commission testified at the markup in the Committee on Agriculture that he wanted to treat community banks the same way as big banks because he wanted to protect them from a major bank failure. Well, these are sophisticated institutions, and to charge community banks with the types of fees that you're going to be charging to Wall Street banks makes no sense at all to me, and we're going to have some amendments on the floor and extensive debate to try to make sure we get the right kind of corrections in place on that part of the title in the bill.
Just to help me out in educating our viewers, what kind of swap or derivative would a community bank be participating in that's going to get affected by this legislation?
Well, every manufacturer, Chuck, irrespective of what they produce, from widgets to automobiles, uses the swaps and derivatives markets to hedge against interest rate increases or decreases. They want stability in the market. So manufacturers use this on a daily basis. Sometimes they go through community banks, sometimes they go straight to Wall Street, depending on the size of the product that they're manufacturing, which dictates the size of the loan. So anytime you have that type of hedge in the marketplace, you can have a community bank affected in the same way that you have Wall Street banks affected, but they're simply going to pay higher fees than they normally would have to pay. And they're going to have to pass those fees on to their customers, which means products are going to cost more. You also have energy companies that do the same thing, and energy companies have been very outspoken in saying,
well, but look at what happened in California. I mean, look at what happened with Enron in this in California, so you understand why there's some hesitance. That's
already been fixed, though. We've already taken care of that. We did that in the Farm Bill 2 years ago, and the Enron loophole that existed, and it did exist, has been corrected, and you haven't seen the potential for that problem to raise its ugly head again because of that fix.
All right, Senator Saxby Chambliss, Republican of Georgia, thank you for being with us this morning, sir. We appreciate it.
Sure, always good to be with you.
Thank you.
Well, in Illinois yesterday, President Obama was quick to praise the Senate financial reform vote. Take a listen.